In this video, we're going to be talking about how we manage money as American expats living in Mexico. This is something that's so important for everybody to understand because when you're living in another country, you can't just walk into a local Chase branch and pull money out of the bank or deposit it at an ATM. There's a lot of things to worry about, like making sure you don't get charged ATM fees or currency conversion fees, and ensuring that you have your money set aside for things like rent and bills and that you can easily access it. Not to mention not getting locked out of your bank accounts. Believe me, that's happened to me before and it sucks. So, if you want to learn how to live among different currencies, save and invest, and of course, make more money living as an expat, then listen up. This video can save you thousands of dollars in just ATM fees alone, so be sure to stick around till the end.
Welcome to Entrepreneur Expat. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Justin.
And on this channel, we talk all things living in other countries as entrepreneurs. So if you are interested in full-time travel, living in other countries like we're living in Mexico right now, and making money from literally anywhere in the world, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. And we have a free guide to help you with supplementing some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in this video. We're obviously going to be talking about income and how to make money. That's part number one of the equation. So if you're trying to figure out how to make money from anywhere in the world, make money online, we have a free guide to help you. It's our Make Money From Anywhere guide, which you can download for free below. It'll show you the top 5 skills that will make you money from anywhere in the world and show you how to get started. You can grab it for free below.
And don't forget to like this video. It helps us out a lot and helps us with our mission of reaching 1 million entrepreneur expats or aspiring entrepreneur expats, and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss a single one of our videos because there's a lot of great content here that you definitely don't want to miss.
So let's talk about part number 1, which is how you make money when you are living in other countries. One of our goals on this channel is to help you guys really start disassociating where you live and where you make your money in your mind. A lot of you are still stuck on this idea of, well, I've had a job for a long time, so the only way for me to make money in another country is to get a job in that other country. The problem with that is they're not going to give up giving jobs to their own citizens to give you a job, which is more than fair. They're looking out for their own people, as they should. So that's number 1. Number 2, not everyone wants to deal with work visas. And number 3, the only way a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in this video works is if you're getting paid in dollars and living in pesos or baht or rupees, right? It's called geo arbitrage for a reason. So we need you to stop thinking in terms of jobs and instead realize that we live in this amazing time where we are in a knowledge economy and we have access to the internet, and you can start a business online. For example, I started as a freelance writer in finance in 2010. You started with an e-commerce store, right?
Oh, well, yeah, my very first business. I was still in high school, but I guess my first official business was an e-commerce store, and then I ended up later turning that into a marketing agency.
There's lots of things you can do. Right now, what we prefer, because it doesn't cost a lot of money to get started, and it doesn't cost a lot of money, and you can scale it, meaning you can keep growing and growing and growing it without getting bogged down by expenses or time, is the knowledge economy, which basically means you have an expertise in a particular area, you package that up into training or consulting or courses, and you go sell that. That's our favorite because you can have very high profit margins and you can scale it pretty easily without growing your expenses all at the same time. So that's what we recommend. Now, if you need help figuring out what this looks like for you, make sure to sign up for a free consultation call below so we can help you figure it out.
Those are limited. We only do a few of those every single week, and usually we're booked out 2 to 3 weeks in advance.
So move quickly, and also first timers only. If we already chatted about this, please do not book a call. Please let other people have a chance.
Yep. So the second strategy in order to financially plan as an expat and really do well is you want to save and invest 40% of your income. So in our case specifically, we've got like real estate projects that we're investing money into that are basically funds. We've got stocks that we're buying, so groups of stocks. There's also other things that we invest in longer term. We're actually working on buying some businesses in the next year here, so we're keeping a portion of our investment money set aside to do things like that. So the goal is invest and save 40% of your income. Really more invest than save, because if you're just putting your money in the bank account, you're getting maybe on a really good day 3 to 4% a year. Like if you invest in some of the high yield savings accounts that we've seen, and that just does not even keep up with inflation.
Yeah, and it's not really saving to save for a rainy day or saving just to save.
Because if you save for a rainy day, you're going to manifest a rainy day, and it's going to come as quickly as you have that emergency fund there.
It's more like stocking money to be able to invest the money.
Yep.
It's more like stacking cash so that when an opportunity shows up, then you're able to capitalize on the opportunity. Now, why do we say 40%? Now, we're using American numbers here. So if you look at what millionaires do, they, on average, try to invest really 40% of their income. Now, what's great about living in a place like Mexico is your living expenses are not very high. Is it getting more expensive? Yes, but it's nothing like the United States. You can still save a lot of money, so that automatically frees up some cash flow. When you combine that with making more money in your own business, magic starts to happen.
Exactly. So you want to try to invest at least 40% of your income. And in addition, like Amanda said, to reducing your expenses by living in Mexico or living outside of your home country, you can also increase your income. That's really the way to do it. Because if you're just trying to save and save and save and lower your expenses and lower your expenses and lower your expenses, we did a lot of that. Like we cut, what was it, like almost $6,000 a month in expenses from your business just in the first year we started working together, because there was a lot of unnecessary
More than that.
money going. Yeah,
More than
actually
that.
closer to 10.
Yeah.
Because I think we brought it down from almost 15,000 a month a few years
Less
ago.
than
Yeah,
2,000 now.
and now we're running everything completely lean. So yes, you want to look at ways to save costs. Maybe trim down your cell phone plan if you're not really using it. Don't spend a bunch of money on nights out and drinks and all this unnecessary stuff like subscriptions and things like that. And we did that too, because we realized that if we want to actually become wealthy, the way to do that is starting to invest, not just spending every penny that comes in. I've made over $1 million just in my career here over the last several years with my different businesses. And unfortunately, like up until very recently, I haven't had that much to actually show for it.
Same.
And it's really frustrating. And it was because I did not have a good investing strategy. I was really good at making the money, not so great at actually keeping the money. So it's about prioritizing those long-term gains over the short-term pleasure of that fun night out or the trip to Vegas or whatever else your guilty pleasures are.
Also, if you live in another country, you can still have a very high quality of life and you can still have a lot of those pleasures without it costing you a ton of money, which to me personally, I'm not motivated by sacrifice and struggle. I'm motivated by pleasure. So if I'm going way too long without having some sort of pleasurable experience, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to give up, period.
Yeah.
Because I'm not motivated by that. I am motivated more by pleasure. So in moving to another country, you're more easily able to have those pleasurable experiences without it throwing your whole budget out of whack.
Yeah, but more importantly, focus on increasing your income, because there's only so far down you can go. There's only so much you can save on rent, even by moving to another country, which we do advocate for sure. For most people that are in the US and Canada, it's a good time to leave. But short of decreasing your expenses and racing to the bottom, there's just not that much you can do to save and save and save your way to wealth. You've got to increase your income as well. So if you increase your income, now you can actually afford to invest more and more of your income to get to at least that 40% mark. Now, the next thing we want to talk about in terms of being financially successful as an expat is you want to look at all of the different bank accounts and debit cards and credit cards and everything else you have, because chances are, especially when you get to Mexico or Colombia or Indonesia or wherever else you want to go and move abroad to as an expat, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of banking locally. So I'll tell you a little bit about how we have everything set up and what we had to change in order to accommodate this new lifestyle. So Amanda had a business bank account with a local bank, or a small regional bank. And that bank, just like the bank that I had previously, I had banked with Chase before, and they charge a lot of fees. They charge you a fee every time you take money out of an ATM. they're going to charge you a foreign ATM withdrawal fee, which is usually a percentage. So usually that's like 1 or 2% of the amount of money you take out. They also charge you fees for just about anything else that you can possibly imagine. So like using your debit card overseas, that's another 2 to 3%. So I had that with Chase when I banked with them. Amanda had that with her regional bank when she used them. And so we both switched our bank account to Mercury, and we're going to include actually a link below in the description if you guys want to check them out. You can use our affiliate link. If not, no hard feelings, but check it out there because you're gonna also get some money if you sign up for that. They're gonna give you a little bonus. But we use Mercury for all of our business bank accounts because they don't charge any foreign transaction fees. They don't charge me anything to take money out of an ATM, which is great. And one thing that's even more important, when I was living in Colombia and I had Chase as a business and personal bank account, there were at least 3 different occasions where I would be trying to use the card for something like World Remit or Remitly or one of those services that takes money from your debit card and sends it to you when you're overseas or to another person overseas. Now, because this is considered a high-risk transaction, sometimes these cards will get blocked. Now, the unfortunate thing about a lot of the big national banks in the US, like Chase, is that they basically expect you to be in the US. And what they told me, I had called the customer service line, spent over an hour on hold talking to India and the Philippines and God knows where else, giving me the runaround. And they said, I'm sorry, sir, you have to come into a local branch. You have to come into a local Chase to get this to work. And I'm like, I'm 3,000 miles away. What do you mean? And I couldn't use my card. Not only would that transaction not work, I literally was stuck in another country with no access to a bank, no access to my money. I couldn't transfer it out, couldn't use my debit card, couldn't Zelle, absolutely nothing. It was completely locked down. And the only way for them to unlock it was for me to spend $1,500, go back to the US. Fortunately, I had a flight coming up in a few months, so it wasn't the end of the world. I figured it out. But it really made my life complicated for those several months. And I don't want that same thing to happen to you guys. So if you have a business, definitely sign up for Mercury. And we've got other recommendations for personal accounts as well.
Yeah, personal accounts, we use Capital One because they don't charge you all these crazy things. I think they charge you like $5 to use the ATM or something like
No,
that.
they
No,
don't.
they don't?
So
Oh,
Capital One,
excuse me.
Capital One actually lets you use your debit card overseas, and there's no foreign transaction fee for that debit card. So we use our Capital One checking accounts as cards for just everyday purchases. We go to the corner store, we want to use a card, we'll use that. And then the one that we use for ATM fees. So Capital One does not charge you a fee to take money out of the ATM, nor do they typically charge, at least from everything that we've seen, a fee when you take money out on top of whatever that amount is. So like a fixed fee or a variable fee or anything like that. Like most banks, they're going to charge you a couple percent and they're going to charge you probably $5 or $10 to use another ATM that's not the bank's. Capital One does neither of those things, but they don't reimburse the ATM fee that the local branch
That's what
charges.
it was.
And that's why we have Fidelity, because if you're taking out 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times a month, each of those fees per person might be 5 to 10, sometimes up to like $15 here locally. So that's easily $100 a month just in ATM fees. And if you're using another bank that's not even, let's say Capital One still charges, you still get charged the local ATM fee. The Mexican bank still charges you the fee. But let's say you're using something like Chase. They're going to charge you the local fee, which is going to be like $5 to $15 that you pay to the ATM here. They're going to charge you another $5 to $10 from the bank itself because you used a different ATM that wasn't theirs. And then on top of that, they're probably going to charge you 1 to 3% that the local bank as well. Now, here's another kicker. All of the ATMs here, when you go to the ATM, most of them will say something like, oh, we're going to convert this amount that you're taking from your USD account into Mexican pesos. Would you like to accept or decline the conversion? And this is a really tricky one because you think, oh, if I want to get this money, I have to accept the conversion rate. You do not. This is a very, very important point, and this is how a lot of ATMs overseas will make millions of dollars off of unsuspecting foreign tourists and even residents alike because they don't know this hack. So whenever that ATM says, do you want to accept our fee to use this ATM? Usually that's going to be like 50, 100, 150 pesos, whatever it is. You have to click accept. But typically either before or after that, they're going to say, would you like to accept the exchange rate? You always have to say no, because if you accept that exchange rate, you're probably not only going to pay an upcharge. So you're going to be paying an extra commission of 4 or 5% to that local bank. You're also still likely going to have to pay the foreign transaction fee that your bank charges. So you always hit decline and you're still going to get your money. You're just going to get it at a much better rate. But in a perfect world, you've got something like Fidelity, which we use, or Schwab, where they don't charge you. Fidelity does charge you to use the debit card itself. So that's why we use Capital One for purchases. But they don't charge you for the ATM fee from Fidelity's end. They don't charge you a foreign transaction fee when you do take money out of the ATM, and they also reimburse any ATM fees that are charged locally. And Fidelity is free. It doesn't cost us any money to keep a little bit of cash in there. Occasionally we'll put it into stocks or something, but just from their cash management account or a similar Schwab account, they're going to reimburse all of those fees related to the ATM, and that can save you a lot of money.
And then, of course, you need a local bank account with the country that you're staying in, especially if you're a resident and you spend most of your time there, because depending on the country, maybe that's how you pay rent, maybe that's how you pay for your cell phone. Sometimes here in Mexico, like, people don't even take cards at a store, and then you have to do like a transfer. So you always want to have like a local bank account just for those life things.
Exactly.
That come up. And then finally, let's talk about how to move money among different currencies. So you've probably heard of something called Wise, which is basically, how would you describe Wise if nobody's ever heard of it before?
Wise is a service that you can use to transfer from a foreign bank account to a local bank account, or from your U.S. account or Canadian account to either a person in another country or to your own accounts in another country.
So, for example, if we either of us need to put money in our Mexican bank accounts, we need to convert those U.S. dollars into Mexican pesos, and then what we do, we use something like Wise in order to do that at a very good rate. So for example, if we get paid in dollars, right? Because our business is mostly with Americans and Canadians right now. That means that whatever bills we have here, like the water or the electricity or rent or any of those things, all need to get converted into pesos in order for us to pay it here. And we need to be able to move it into the Mexican bank account, and Wise allows you to do that. We'll leave a link below so you guys can sign up. And then they have a business version and a personal version too, right?
Exactly.
For Wise. So if you have a business and for whatever reason in that business you need to work in multiple currencies, like for example, we've had Canadian clients and they're like, can I send you the money with Wise?
Because they charge a lot of fees.
Because they charge a lot of fees to convert the Canadian dollars into
the
US
normal
dollars.
banks do. Wise doesn't charge nearly as much.
So you also have that option if you have a business and you're working with people in different countries. That's also an option, so that let's say you're American and then you have a Canadian client. That way they don't get killed in conversion fees. So you can use Wise for that as well.
So there you have it. That is our video about how to financially plan as an expat and manage and move your money around, as well as how to save a bunch of money and keep it in your pocket instead of in the bank's pocket.
If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps us with our mission of getting this in front of 1 million expats and expats to be, and also helps us get a lot of entrepreneurial and financial education out there. We've realized since moving to Mexico that knowing money is kind of a thing that's needed universally, and it doesn't matter what country you're in, a lot of the same, if not all the same principles still apply. So please make sure to get this out to as many people as you can by giving it a like and sharing, which are completely free. You can also leave a comment below on any of the recommendations you may have.
And we try to get back to every single comment.
We really do. Like, I'm literally there every morning trying to get back to everybody. Ask them. If you're waiting for a reply, hold on. I'm trying to get it to as many of you as possible. So hang tight. And if you heard this and you're like, crap, I need to go work on the income side of things, which, newsflash, everybody does, because you can't save and invest 40% of your income without money to do it, right? So that's always part one of the equation. Then make sure to download our Make Money from Anywhere guide below. And if you want more personalized attention on your specific situation, sign up for a consultation call with either of us, depending on what's going on the calendar below as well. Thank you so much for watching this. We'll leave you with some other videos to watch here on the end screen, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.